is a cell? What is the relationship between the cell and a living thing? 2 questions. First, we're going to start off with what is a cell? Miss Michelle, tell us what a cell is.
The smallest unit that can live on it in that makes a living organism in the tissue cell of the body.
Alright, the definition of a cell. But a small definition, in case you don't have it, is the structural unit of life. The structural unit of life. Right? It's also the smallest, at the smallest cellular level. It's the lowest level. Lowest level, cells. Okay? Alright, the next question asks, what is the relationship between a cell and a living thing? What is the relationship between a cell and a living thing? Go ahead, Angel.
Cells provide structure and function for all living things.
Cells provide structure and function. Like she said, function. Function is very important. Function for all living things. If you are living, you're going to be composed of one or more cells. Right. Can anybody give me a definition, or I'm sorry, can anybody give me or tell me what is a living thing in an example? What about you, Miss? Y'all go ahead and close your Chromebook. What about you, Miss Amira? Can you give me an example of a living thing? Bird, okay. And we're gonna reverse and go around. What is it? Give me an example of a non-living thing.
Oh.
Go ahead, Zakaria. Oh, Rob. What else? Go ahead, keep on. Huh?
A tree, living boy.
A tree would be living. Okay, go ahead. Cardboard. Leah. Crystals. Go ahead, Mill. Paper. Okay. So those are examples of living and non-living things. Do anybody not understand that? I know you guys are in the 7th grade, but you can't be shy. If you need some help or if you don't understand something, make sure you let me know, okay? Got to do one thing. You got your Chromebook? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the standard. The standard what we'll be touching on today is L 6.1.5. We're going to provide evidence that organisms are unicellular or multicellular. You also have an I can statement on the board as well. For those of you who may not know what unicellular and multicellular is, the I can statement breaks that down. And basically it says, provide evidence that organisms are one cell or more than one cell. Do anybody know the definition to an organism before I tell you? Go ahead, Nick. Organism is a living thing, a self-contained living thing. All right. All right, so these are all of the standards that we pretty much went over. We'll go over again. But the first standard you're expected, this is the overall standard. This is what you should be able to do at the end of the chapter. And it said just basically, students will demonstrate an understanding that living things range from simple to complex and are organized theoretically and function as whole living systems. The next one, what we just discussed, pretty much all these standards tied together, but these are sub-standards. Sub-standards in order to get up to this overall standard. All right, so you're going to be able, next standard, you're going to be able to use argument by evidence in order to distinguish between living and non-living things, okay? It says including viruses and bacteria. Y'all remember that, right? Well, what is a virus a living or non-living thing?
Non-living.
Non-living. All right. Yes.
In order for it to live, it has to have a host.
Has to have a host. It replicates inside of the host. Such as a bacteria is what?
A bacteria is a living thing.
Bacteria is a living thing. Good job, Nick. Bacteria is a living thing. Third standard, we're going to obtain and communicate evidence to support the cell theory.
Yes, sir.
Provide evidence, next standard, provide evidence that organisms are unicellular or multicellular. Basically, we're going to pretty much zoom in on that particular standard today. And the last standard, develop and use modules to show relationships among the increasing complexity of multicellular organisms. Organs, cells, tissues, organs, organ system, organisms, and how they serve the needs of the organism. All right. So for those of you who didn't take notes first time, this is your time to take notes, okay? I'm going to briefly go through the picture vocabulary with you. I may not stay on it long, but it's something that I already have it. So if I'm going too fast, like I said, some of them I'm going to just zoom through. But we have already pretty much went over these vocabulary words. First thing said, we just went over there. Okay? Basic structural unit of life. And it's the basic structural unit of life of all living organisms. If you're living, you're composed of one or more cells. Okay? With that being said, with the cell, you can pretty much write down a structural unit of life. Structural unit of life. Got that? Okay. Multicellular. Multicellular. Organism that is composed of one or more cells. Organism that is composed of one or more cells. you mind if I get a copy of your notes? You say you mind? Okay, you have copies of your notes? I think I got yours last time, right? You don't have it? Okay. That's all right. You have a copy of your notes?
I got it right here.
You do? Come on. Hold on. I'm gonna get it right there. This yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next. Organism. Self-contained living thing. Self-contained living thing. Organism, self-contained living thing. That is what we're referred to whenever we're talking about science. We are organisms, okay? We are an organism. Bless you. Bless you.
God, Jesus Christ.
You go ahead. All right, so everybody has that one, right? Yeah, like I said. All right. Unicellular organism made of one cell, right? Made up of one cell. Organism made up of only one cell. Okay. Huh? Organism made up of one cell. Right. So like I said, this is something that we are going over again due to the fact of what the grades were looking like. Okay? So this is what you call a reteach. I am reteaching. Okay. Virus, what we discussed earlier, is considered as a non-living thing. It can only replicate inside of the host. That is how it's divided. Okay? Huh? It replicates. It uses the host to replicate. It uses something else in order to replicate. Alright, so that's it, with just the vocabulary words and what we went over. We're gonna move right along. The next step would be to, some people are visual, some people actually like to just write things down. So, thank you, Angel. Alright, so these are just mild concepts of what will be going on in this chapter, the main point that you need to understand and get, okay? Alright, so basically it just talks about the cell theory. It states that all living organisms are composed of cells. All living organisms are composed of cells. Cells are the basic unit of life, and all cells come from pre-existing cells. Okay? This holds true for all living things, whether they are unicellular or multicellular. Okay? That's the first key concept. First key concept.
Miss,
Huh?
you want to write this down?
You can if you would like, but I'm not gonna stay on it long. You basically just need to know what cell theory is. That, like I told you earlier, there are 3 parts to the cell theory, okay? 3 parts. Can anybody help me out with that? 3 parts to the cell theory. What are the 3 parts?
All life is made up of cells. All life is made up of cells. Cells are a fundamental unit of life, and all cells can come from pre-existing cells.
Good job. Alright. So that basically ties up with the cell theory. Okay? And just to remember, it holds true for all living things, whether it's unicellular or multicellular. Okay? Second key concept says all living things are made up of cells, which is the smallest unit of life that can be said to be alive. Okay? All living things are made up of cells, which is the smallest units that can be said to be alive. Next one, virus is non-living. It does not have a metabolism, no cellular structure, and it can't produce, which is why it is considered a non-living thing. Okay? Got it? Keep going? Alright, so next one. Organism consists of one cell or many different types of cells. That is when you would apply whether it's unicellular or multicellular. Okay? Unicellular or multicellular. Unicellular, one cell. And that one cell is going to actually perform all of the functions found within that organism. What's wrong, Amy?
I
You
can
see it?
yes, and a code.
Alright, and also with the multicellular, that's when the organism is composed of one or more cells. And each one of those cells have different specific types of functions that it is going to perform within that cell. Okay? Unicellular. Like multicellular organisms, what they need things in order to survive. These are things that they need, unicellular as well as multicellular. They need food, water, and a way to respond to their environment. Okay? Food, water, dispose of waste, and a way to respond in which they can live in their environment. Okay. Last one. This is pretty much once at the end of the chapter of what would have been done. It says fruit for sales. The smallest unit of a plant or animals form tissues. Tissues form organs. Organ systems form organs. Organ system are the result of working together, and the last one would be organism. Organism is the highest level of organization. Okay? So I'm going to show you a video, and then we'll move right along. And like I said, the actual standard that we're going to be using is right there on the board. That's 6.1.5. That is what I'm going to concentrate on today.
Unicellular. They depend on simple diffusion for life. They are usually too small to be visible with the naked eye, like bacteria, and so we need a microscope to see them. But there are some unicellular algae that are about 15 to 20 centimeters in size. All other organisms are multicellular. They consist of multiple cells and are more complex. The vast majority of plants and animals are multicellular. Being multicellular allows the organisms to be larger and have cell differentiation. So different types of cells to carry out different tasks. Groups of cells then function in the same way to form tissues or organs. These specialized organs carry out our life processes, working together in systems. Unicellular organisms can carry out all life processes in just the one cell, using internal structures called organelles. The decreased ability to share our life processes means unicellular organisms have a low level of efficiency, whereas multicellular organisms are highly efficient, with division of labor at the cellular, tissue, or organ system level. Unicellular organisms cannot grow large because they are limited by a surface area to volume ratio, whereas multicellular organisms can increase the number of small cells to give it a large size overall. Multicellular organisms have long lifespans because individual cells have a relatively small workload, whereas the hard-working single cell of a unicellular organism has such a heavy workload that it can only maintain a very short lifespan. I don't need to tell you how we get nutrition, but how does a single cell manage it? Usually by phagocytosis, where the food is engulfed and then stored in food vacuums inside the organism. All prokaryotes are unicellular. Eukaryotes can be uni- or multicellular organisms. We look at the difference between pro- and eukaryotes in this video. And we'll discover why the statement that all prokaryotes are unicellular is contended by some scientists, as well as prokaryotes. Most protists and some fungi, like yeast, are also unicellular. So there we have unicellular and multicellular organisms. Final thought to leave you with is that injury to the cell of a unicellular organism can cause death. Then one cell is everything, whereas injury or death to some cells of multicellular organisms should not cause a problem. Those cells can simply be replaced.
If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. Comment below if you have any questions. Why not check out our Fuscal app as well? Until next time. You can get up to a $3,000 scholarship.
Alright, so that is the video, very short video. Very short video. Alright, so we will move along. So I have asked the questions, watched the video, went through the objectives. The next thing, and this is the question. In your opinion, class discussion, in your opinion, where do you think you come from? In your opinion.
God.
What's that, Angel?
Out my mama.
Out your body.
Out my mama. Out her mama.
Oh, out her mama. Oh my God.
Out her mama. It's obviously your dad.
Where do you think you come from?
Your dad.
Your dad. Come from your dad. All right. So thinking about science. Thinking about science. Move a little further. Thinking about what you're composed of.
Cells.
You're composed of cells.
Cell wall.
I'm gonna ask you this. This is your opinion. You are composed of cells. Where do you think, who do you think made the cell? Or how, we know cells come from pre-existing cells. You know that.
God.
Some people say
God
God.
gave God gave somebody knowledge to discover it.
God gave somebody knowledge to discover a cell. Sound like that. Anybody else? Where do you think cell come from?
I think that's what we do.
Huh? You said that's just what we built up?